Police body cams recorded a screaming half-man, half-beast restrained downtown, and nothing about its anatomy made sense at all.
This is not a rumor, not a myth, not a blurry shadow at the edge of a frame. This is raw, unfiltered footage from U.S. streets where officers expected a routine call and instead found something that should not exist. Witnesses froze, radios crackled. The creature fought like an animal, stared like a human, and moved with a strength that made trained officers hesitate. Skin stretched wrong, limbs bent where bones shouldn't. Sounds came from its throat that didn't belong to any known species. What happened next was buried fast. Sealed reports, missing footage, shaken responders who refused interviews. Some say it was tranquilized. Others claim it was transferred, alive, under heavy guard. And a few insist it looked directly into the camera, as if it knew it had finally been seen. This case doesn't ask whether monsters are real. It asks how long they've been walking among us unnoticed, waiting for the moment someone hits record.
Before we uncover the footage, like, comment, and subscribe to Mystery Footage Uncovered now.
In a residential courtyard bordered by concrete blocks, a municipal body camera recorded officers restraining a screaming non-human form as residents watched from behind tape. A twisted body lunged forward, caught on camera, limbs bent where joints shouldn't exist, filmed at ground level. Milky eyes reflected light. Scientists shocked. This entity could be the result of extreme gene mutation or synthetic biological interference. Standing at an inconsistent height as its spine compressed and expanded under stress, arms stretched long like collapsed crane beams, skin pale gray and oily, as if burned from the inside, movement jerky yet capable of sudden explosive speed, emitting a sound described as metal scraping through wind mixed with a human scream, suggesting abnormal nerve signaling, tissue deformation, or exposure to industrial radiation, hunched like a wrecked pickup truck but snapping forward with the acceleration of an NFL sprinter. If it took 4 trained officers to hold it down, how many escaped before cameras arrived? Near a service entrance beneath an apartment block, a handheld phone camera captured responders dragging a shrieking creature from a drainage opening as witnesses froze in shock. The torso writhed violently on camera. Clawed hands scraped pavement, caught on audio distortion. Eyes flashed white-green. No one believed. Some researchers believe this entity may parallel historical Loveland frogmen sightings, first reported in Ohio during the 1950s, due to its amphibian-like skin texture, oversized eyes, and crouched posture, suggesting a possible underground adapted mutation caused by toxic runoff or genetic isolation, with elongated limbs bending at unnatural angles, blotched skin cracking under tension, and a metallic rot stench reported by responders, moving heavy as a bison yet silent as a stalking cat until provoked. If something evolved beneath cities without detection, how long has it been watching us from below? On a narrow urban roadway, a dash-mounted police camera documented officers attempting to subdue a screaming, bald-headed creature surrounded by stalled traffic. The head bulged grotesquely, filmed close. The jaw snapped sideways, caught on camera. Crowds backed away, scientists shocked. This specimen could indicate advanced tissue overgrowth and cranial deformation, possibly linked to endocrine collapse or experimental exposure, with skin stretched thin and slick like overheated rubber, extra joint articulation visible in the shoulders, eyes reflecting harsh white under streetlights, and movements alternating between convulsive spasms and sudden calculated lunges, like a malfunctioning machine briefly remembering how to hunt. Its breath producing a warped blend of wind, human tone, and mechanical rasp. If its body is this unstable, what happens when one like it learns control? On a rain-soaked roadside, a civilian phone camera recorded officers surrounding a towering half-man figure illuminated by emergency lights. The chest heaved unnaturally, on camera. Legs bent backward mid-step, caught on slow motion. No resistance at first, no one believed. This entity may represent a severe musculoskeletal mutation, possibly triggered by chemical exposure or genetic recombination, with limbs twisted yet powerful, skin flushed and slick with heat. emitting a smell witnesses compared to hot metal and rotting tissue, moving hunched like a derailed train car but capable of sudden forward bursts, suggesting a nervous system oscillating between collapse and predatory clarity. If it surrendered once restrained, was it exhausted or assessing the threat? Along a rural highway shoulder, a patrol dash cam recorded officers approaching a distorted humanoid figure that refused to turn its head. The silhouette stood wrong, filmed steadily. Eyes glowed pale green, scanned by headlights. No sound until touched. Scientists shocked. Some investigators draw comparisons to skinwalker legends from Navajo history, where human-like beings mimic form but move incorrectly due to the creature's unnatural gait, elongated limbs, cracked gray skin, and delayed reactions, possibly indicating a neurological mutation or identity-mimicking behavior tied to trauma or exposure. Heavy as a bison, yet silent as a stalking cat, producing a breath that sounded like wind forced through rusted steel. If it imitates human shape this poorly now, what happens when it improves? In a downtown intersection sealed by police, a stabilized street camera captured officers escorting a restrained humanoid with non-human proportions. The spine rippled visibly on camera, arms dragged unnaturally low, caught on frame. The crowd went silent, scientists shocked. This subject may represent an advanced mutation involving spinal segmentation and muscle overextension, with height fluctuating as posture shifted, skin pale and cracked, eyes reflecting white under daylight, movement jerky yet coordinated enough to track surroundings, like a collapsed crane suddenly reassembling itself mid-motion, raising concerns about accelerated adaptation, environmental triggers, or deliberate bioengineering. If authorities rushed it away without explanation, what were they afraid we'd recognize? Inside a government-owned residential building, late evening, a maintenance hallway camera operated by a night supervisor recorded a bent, child-sized humanoid emerging from a locked utility door. A pale figure shuffled forward, caught on camera. Oversized eyes locked instantly, filmed without blinking. Hands twitched in reverse angles, scientists shocked. This entity could be the result of extreme developmental mutation, possibly linked to genetic editing or endocrine collapse, with a compressed torso, elongated forearms bending at extra joints, oily pink-gray skin stretched thin, and eyes enlarged beyond normal orbital capacity, suggesting abnormal neural growth and sensory overcompensation, moving hunched like a broken office chair, yet reacting with sudden sharp precision like a startled lab animal, producing a faint whine described as wind through old pipes mixed with a human breath. If it knew how to open a sealed door, what else did it learn inside that building? On a rural access road shortly after midnight, a patrol dashcam recorded an officer standing beside a towering fur-covered humanoid illuminated by headlights. A massive silhouette stood still, on camera. Long arms hung unnaturally low, caught on dashcam. Eyes reflected white. No one believed. The subject may indicate a hybridized mutation involving abnormal muscle density and spinal elongation, with height inconsistent as posture shifted, thick brown fur masking pale cracked skin beneath, joints rotating slightly out of plane, and movement restrained but coiled, heavy as a bison yet silent as a stalking cat, suggesting either radiation-induced gigantism or an undocumented primate offshoot adapted to avoid conflict through stillness rather than flight. If it allowed itself to be escorted without resistance, was it captured or complying? Inside a restricted laboratory corridor, fluorescent ceiling cameras operated by hazmat staff recorded 3 identical infant-like entities submerged in a containment bath. Small bodies floated forward, filmed steadily. Webbed hands flexed together, caught on camera. Eyes tracked movement independently. Scientists shocked. Some believe these forms parallel the Dover demon, first reported in Massachusetts in the 1970s, due to their smooth skin, oversized heads, and emotionless expressions, suggesting artificial gestation or rapid cloning tied to experimental evolution, with pale rubbery flesh, shortened limbs with extra joints, and a faint odor of hot metal and decay, moving weakly yet deliberately, as if cognition outpaced physical development. If these are only early-stage organisms, what was meant to come next? Behind a commercial block at night, a fixed service camera recorded a bald, dog-sized humanoid crouched low beside dumpsters as sanitation workers froze. A hunched body shifted on camera, forelimbs locked and released, caught on zoom. Eyes glowed dull white. No one believed. This creature could represent a failed bipedal mutation reverting to quadrupedal locomotion, with thick, sinewy arms bearing most weight, spine compressed downward, skin blotched and leathery, emitting a smell described as burnt oil and rot, moving jerky but capable of sudden acceleration, like a wrecked pickup forced to run like a greyhound, suggesting neurological instability paired with survival-driven adaptation. If it chose alleys over forests, what does it understand about hiding among us? On a deserted two-lane highway, a civilian dashcam recorded a skeletal antlered figure crossing the road upright under full headlights. A tall shape stepped forward, caught on camera. Legs bent backward mid-stride, filmed clearly. No animal sound followed. Scientists shocked. This entity may indicate severe skeletal restructuring possibly triggered by environmental contamination, with elongated limbs, exposed joint articulation, pale skin stretched tight over bone, and movement stiff yet deliberate, evoking skinwalker legends from Native American history where animals adopt distorted human posture, suggesting mimicry or mutation rather than myth, heavy as a moose but silent as falling ash. If animals can learn to stand like us, how long before they learn to think like us? At a major city intersection in daylight, a stabilized street camera operated by traffic control captured officers escorting a muscular humanoid with reptilian features. A broad torso flexed on camera. Skin rippled unnaturally, caught on close range. The crowd fell silent, scientists shocked. This subject could be the result of radical gene splicing or endocrine overload, with hyper-defined musculature, asymmetrical limb length, slick pale skin, and a thick tail-like extension affecting balance, moving upright but strained, like a body assembled from incompatible parts, producing a low, distorted vocalization blending human tone and mechanical hum, suggesting artificial origin or accelerated mutation beyond natural evolution. If this was captured in public, how many were removed where cameras never rolled? On a commercial fishing vessel offshore, mid-morning, a crewman's handheld phone recorded a massive non-human head hauled from the sea as the operator shouted in disbelief. A mouth split wider than human limits, caught on camera, teeth curved inward like hooks, filmed slick with brine. Eyes squinted against daylight, scientists shocked. This specimen could represent a deep-sea adapted mutation forced upward by pressure change, with skin crusted and calcified like barnacle armor, jaw tissue stretched and rubbery, tongue elongated beyond normal mammalian anatomy, and a body possibly compressed by abyssal gravity, emitting a stench described as hot metal mixed with decaying fish, moving heavy as a winch block yet flexing with sudden spasms, suggesting extreme cellular resilience, or unknown hybridization between marine and terrestrial genetic lines. If this survived surfacing intact, what else stays below because it chooses to? Inside a brightly lit grocery store, early evening, a customer's phone camera captured a humanoid figure standing motionless between aisles as shoppers passed behind it. A distorted head drooped forward on camera. Fleshy nodules pulsed slightly, caught on autofocus. No alarm sounded. No one believed. The creature's appearance suggests severe craniofacial mutation, possibly fungal or parasitic overgrowth fused with human tissue, with a hollowed face cavity, elongated mouth structure, skin mottled and oily, and posture slumped like a failed mannequin, yet capable of subtle tracking movements, implying cognitive awareness beneath deformation, moving like a broken animatronic that still knows where you are. If it blended into a public place unnoticed, how many times have we already walked past it? In an open grassy field at night, a motion-activated trail camera operated by a landowner recorded a pale, elongated creature advancing toward the lens. A thin frame stepped forward, caught on camera. Limbs bent backward unnaturally, filmed in infrared. Eyes burned red. Scientists shocked. This entity could indicate extreme musculoskeletal restructuring with elongated forelimbs bearing most weight, skin smooth and hairless like stretched latex, spine ridged with protrusions, and movement jerky but capable of sudden acceleration, evoking historical chupacabra reports from the 1990s describing hairless, spine-lined predators seen near livestock, suggesting either convergent mutation or shared environmental trigger. If it approaches cameras instead of avoiding them, what reaction is it testing? Along a wooded back road, shortly after midnight, a fixed security camera captured a small, white humanoid darting from behind a stone wall. A bulbous head snapped sideways, on camera. Long fingers scraped gravel, caught on frame. No animal sounds followed. No one believed. This being may represent a failed bipedal adaptation, with disproportionate cranial size, thin limbs with extra joint articulation, pale cracked skin reflecting infrared light, and movement alternating between hesitant shuffles and sudden bursts, like a malfunctioning prototype struggling to decide how to move, producing a faint mechanical wind hiss reported by nearby residents. If it chose a road instead of the forest, what does it understand about where humans look least? On a rural highway in daylight, a passing driver's phone recorded a limping figure with visibly uneven legs moving against traffic. One limb dragged stiffly, caught on camera. The torso twisted off axis, filmed clearly. Bystanders froze, scientists shocked. This subject could be the result of traumatic mutation or incomplete transformation, with mismatched limb length, scarred skin patterns, joint instability, and gait compensations suggesting nervous system damage. Yet the upper body remained coordinated and alert, like a body rewired under pressure, emitting a metallic rot odor noted by witnesses who passed within meters. If it survives in daylight despite its condition, what keeps it moving forward? In a rural field, daytime, a civilian camera recorded a dark-skinned humanoid crouched low, arms extended as if mid-change, while text overlays questioned its origin. The back arched suddenly on camera. Hands flattened into the grass, caught on zoom. No attempt to flee. No one believed. This entity could indicate an unstable transformation phase, with skin darkened and blotched, limbs lengthening unevenly, posture oscillating between human and animal, possibly linked to endocrine shock, radiation exposure, or experimental gene activation, moving like a person forgetting how to stand while remembering how to hunt, heavy as a bison, yet coiled with restrained speed. If transformation is not instant but gradual, how many are already halfway there? In a rural backyard clearing at late afternoon, a handheld DSLR operated by a local groundskeeper recorded a swollen humanoid raising its arms toward the lens. A neck stretched into the torso, caught on camera. Fingers splayed too wide, filmed shaking. Breath rasped metallic. No one believed. The subject's anatomy suggests extreme soft tissue hypertrophy, with fat-like layers behaving more like fluid sacs, a shortened cervical spine fused into the upper chest, limbs inconsistently proportioned and trembling under their own weight, skin pale and waxy with cracked seams, eyes glassy and reflective, moving slowly but surging forward in sudden lunges, heavy as a waterlogged couch yet unstable like melting wax, possibly indicating endocrine collapse, radiation-triggered mutation, or artificial growth acceleration reminiscent of Loveland Frogman accounts describing bloated, semi-upright entities near water systems in the 1970s. If its body keeps expanding faster than it can adapt, what happens when it finally bursts its limits? Inside a private residence during midday, a phone camera operated by a caregiver documented a small humanoid cradled against an adult's chest, skin folded like damp clay on camera, eyes tracked independently, caught on focus, hands clenched with strength. Scientists shocked. This entity exhibits infant-scale stature but adult tissue density, with elongated fingers ending in hardened nails, wrinkled skin, blotched gray and brown, joints overly flexible with extra articulation points, and a faint odor of hot metal mixed with rot, suggesting accelerated aging or reverse growth mutation, possibly from gene splicing or environmental toxins, while its movements remain jerky yet capable of sudden grip force, like a newborn built from old parts. If something this small already understands how to cling, what will it do once it learns to stand alone? In a dim interior room during early evening, a static tripod camera set by family members recorded an elderly-looking face deforming inward. Skin folded over itself, caught on camera. Eyes stayed alert, filmed unmoving. No vocalization followed. No one believed. The subject's features appeared to result from severe connective tissue breakdown, with facial muscles losing structural anchoring, skin sagging in layered folds, nasal passages compressed, eyes reflecting light sharply, and hands displaying elongated knuckles, suggesting a degenerative mutation affecting collagen synthesis, possibly triggered by radiation or experimental pharmaceuticals, leaving the mind intact while the body collapses like wet paper. If awareness remains trapped inside a failing shell, how long before it seeks a new one? Inside a suburban living room at night, a phone camera operated by a visitor recorded a massive humanoid reclining unnaturally on furniture, skin stretched and glossy on camera. Limbs sank into cushions, caught on audio creaks. Breathing whistled low. Scientists shocked. This organism shows extreme mass accretion with muscle and fat behaving indistinguishably, limbs shortened and partially absorbed into the torso, joints barely visible, skin pale and oily with stress fissures, eyes small but reflective, emitting a stale heat and rot odor, moving rarely but with explosive shifts, heavy as a refrigerator yet capable of startling speed, evoking Dover demon lore of squat, heavy-bodied beings reported in confined spaces, suggesting an adaptive response to indoor environments. If it has learned to live among us unnoticed, what else has adapted to our homes? On a dirt road under full daylight, a dashboard camera operated by a safari driver captured a massive humanoid moving on all fours toward the vehicle. Arms longer than legs, caught on camera. Back bowed like collapsing steel, filmed clearly. Dust lifted without sound. No one believed. The creature's proportions indicate extreme limb elongation and spinal deformation, with forelimbs bearing most weight, skin thick and cracked like dried clay. Eyes shadowed but reflective, movement uneven yet capable of sudden acceleration, heavy as a bison yet silent as a stalking cat, possibly the result of abnormal evolutionary pressure or prolonged radiation exposure, altering growth symmetry. If it chooses the road instead of the wild, who is it waiting for? In a private bedroom at night, a handheld phone operated by an unidentified adult recorded a crying newborn with non-human proportions. Torso too dense, on camera. Limbs twisted inward, caught on zoom. Cry distorted and hollow. Scientists shocked. This infant displays hybridized traits including compressed rib cage, oversized musculature for its size, skin thick and wrinkled, joints stiff with extra cartilage ridges, emitting a faint metallic rot scent, suggesting catastrophic genetic incompatibility, possibly caused by experimental manipulation or environmental contamination, with movements jerky and uncoordinated yet powerful, like a body built without a final blueprint. If this is only the first generation, what will the next one look like when it survives longer? In a rural dirt path outside a farming settlement late afternoon, a handheld phone camera operated by a field laborer recorded a massive humanoid moving forward on its forearms. Its shoulders rolled first, caught on camera, hands pressed into soil, filmed clearly. The head stayed low. No one believed. The subject's body shows extreme upper limb hypertrophy with forearms thicker than thighs, a shortened neck nearly absorbed into the torso, skin darkened and cracked with oily patches, and legs reduced to secondary supports, suggesting a radical redistribution of musculoskeletal load, possibly from prolonged quadrupedal adaptation or genetic distortion, hunched like a wrecked pickup, but advancing with deliberate force. Eyes briefly flashing pale white when angled toward the lens. Movements jerky yet capable of sudden forward surges, accompanied by a low rasp described as wind pushed through rusted pipes. If strength has migrated upward like this, what happens when it decides to stand fully again? On a small recreational pool deck at midday, a phone camera held by a caretaker documented a swollen humanoid crouched near the water's edge. Skin sagged in layers, on camera. Facial folds trembled, caught on zoom. Breath bubbled wet. Scientists shocked. This entity exhibits extreme subdermal fluid retention, with fat-like tissue behaving elastically, a compressed skull, thick neck folds, sparse hair hanging like soaked fibers, and pale gray skin reflecting light unevenly, possibly indicating endocrine malfunction or aquatic adaptation, as if the body were designed to regulate pressure rather than movement. Heavy as a sandbag yet shifting suddenly in short, explosive motions, emitting a smell witnesses compared to hot metal mixed with stagnant water. If its physiology favors immersion, what happens when it stays submerged longer than observed? In a suburban front yard during early evening, a stabilized action camera worn by a resident recorded two figures rushing forward at ground level. Bodies dropped low, caught on camera. Limbs slapped stone, filmed fast. Laughter cut short. No one believed. The smaller subject displayed disproportionate mass, concentrated in the torso. Limbs shortened but reinforced, skin pale and glossy with stress creases, while movement alternated between awkward stumbles and bursts of startling speed, suggesting abnormal muscle fiber density and joint reinforcement, possibly engineered or mutated under extreme metabolic stress, moving like a bowling ball given legs, eyes briefly reflecting green under direct light, producing a breathy mechanical grunt. If it can accelerate without warning, how long before someone mistakes it for harmless again? At a private residence pool at midday, a handheld phone camera operated by a homeowner recorded a small creature perched against stonework. Teeth flashed outward, caught on camera. Eyes locked forward, filmed unblinking. No animal fled. Scientists shocked. This entity's craniofacial structure suggests hybridization, with oversized canines, flattened nose, dense facial musculature, and compact limbs ending in claw-like nails. Skin dark and leathery with oily sheen. Movement twitchy yet precise. Heavy for its size yet agile, recalling historical Dover demon sightings from Massachusetts, describing squat, big-eyed entities near human dwellings, possibly indicating a lineage adapted to close proximity observation rather than avoidance. If it mimics threat displays so clearly, what response is it trying to measure? On a commercial fishing vessel at dawn, a body-mounted camera worn by a deckhand recorded a tall, slick-skinned humanoid being lifted against the rail. Skin shimmered wet, caught on camera. Limbs hung elongated, filmed shaking. Eyes reflected gray. No one believed. The specimen's anatomy points to deep-sea adaptation, with elongated torso, underdeveloped legs, dense upper body musculature, skin mottled and scaled with oily residue, joints flexible beyond normal human range, and movement slow but punctuated by violent spasms, heavy as a bison yet unstable, emitting a sharp odor of hot metal and decaying tissue, possibly surfaced due to pressure disruption or habitat collapse. If it survived the ascent, what does that imply about where it evolved? Inside a wooden enclosure in a forested region during midday, a phone camera operated by a hiker recorded a chained humanoid animal composite shifting its weight. The torso twisted upright, caught on camera. Hooves scraped dirt, filmed sharply. No sound followed. Scientists shocked. This subject displays a fused morphology with a human-like upper body and quadrupedal lower structure, limbs mismatched in length, skin blotched and cracked, muscle fibers visibly misaligned, eyes reflecting pale green, and movement restrained but tense, suggesting either extreme congenital mutation or artificial splicing, echoing skinwalker legends from Native American folklore describing shape-bound entities. Yet the physical constraints here imply captivity rather than transformation. If something like this is restrained instead of studied, who decided it shouldn't be understood? Here, at the edge of what we can explain, these images stop being just footage and start becoming mirrors. Each distorted body, each impossible movement, each silent stare into a camera lens forces us to confront a question far deeper than, is this real? It asks how fragile the line truly is between the human, the animal, and the unknown. Across forests, oceans, streets, and homes. These encounters share one unsettling truth. Whatever was recorded did not try to hide. It existed openly, briefly, and then vanished, leaving behind fear, doubt, and a haunting sense that we are no longer alone in the spaces we once considered safe. Science struggles for language. Authorities offer silence or dismissal. Yet the footage remains, raw, unfiltered, and disturbingly intimate. Whether these beings are the result of mutation, hidden evolution, or something far older, they challenge our certainty about the world and our place within it. Perhaps the greatest horror is not what these entities are, but how calmly they move through our reality, as if they have always been here. Before we go deeper into the evidence and uncover what may still be hidden, don't forget to like, comment your theories, and subscribe to Mystery Footage Uncovered, because the truth may already be watching back.